Hello, today I'm going to do another video on how to buy cars from owners on Craigslist. I'm not going to use the app. I'm going to just go to the main website. I'm going to try and real quickly get into it and pick a particular model of car and show you real quickly how fast I can do this. And then I'm going to go back down and I'm going to break everything out. First of all, I go to Craigslist on their main site. Even though it says cars and trucks here, I don't go there. I go to the main site. Okay, then you have all these different things you can pick. Over here, you have for sale. And then down here, you have cars and trucks. So I'm gonna go straight to cars and trucks under the category of for sale. Right over here, you'll notice that it says 1 to 120 of 10,000, over 10,000. So there's over 10,000 vehicles right here. There's no way you can search through that. So we have filters in Craigslist. I've already used a few. First of all, I'm on Craigslist. Second of all, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm picking all of the San Francisco Bay Area. And these are items that are for sale, and these are cars and trucks. There's a whole bunch more filters over here, which I'm going to show later, but for right now, I'm just going to use them real quickly. I'm gonna put in the model of car that I'm interested in here in this box. You can also do it over here, but I picked this area. So I'm gonna use Ford Taurus as an example. And it says Ford Taurus SHO, which is a particular model, a wagon, the X model. If you use filters, what happens is you narrow down the results, but at the same time you narrow down the results, you miss other results that you might want. So the risk of using more filters is that you might actually filter out some results that you want. However, when you have 10,000 cars to look at, you have to filter in what you think you need to filter and take the risk that you might miss some cars. So for right now, I'm just going to use Taurus, and then I'm going to hit enter. So I've got all these cars that come up with a filter of Taurus, okay? How many do I have? Page 1 to 120 of 867. Okay, this is clearly not, this is a 2010 Ford Taurus. It's a dealer. This is obviously a dealer. Another dealer, another dealer. Why so many dealers? Because the dealers are updating their ads almost every single day to keep their results fresh and get their vehicles up to the top of the list. So I don't really want to deal with the dealers, so I'm going to use another filter over here, which is owner, that filter right there. And now I have just narrowed it down to 14 cars, okay, from 867 to 14. So now we have another box over here, which is the term box. And then we have another box next to that called the gallery box. The gallery box basically says this is called the gallery view. Then you have the list view. Well, the list is basically just that, 14. So I can see very quickly on the list, and I can also see the date the ad was posted. So this one says August 23rd, and that one says September 17th. So this is listed in terms of the not only the relevance, but it appears to be the newest ad to the oldest ad. Now, if I'm interested in trying to make a low offer on someone's car, the date of the ad is going to be interesting to me. But I'm more interested in what the car looks like, and I can't see what the car looks like. So I could go to the thumb, and if I had some really good vision, I could probably see those cars, but that doesn't help me. The thumb doesn't help me at all. So I typically use the gallery, which gives me a bigger picture, and I'm going to show you where you can hit these little arrows right here, and you can actually scroll through the pictures without pulling up the ad. All right, but there's another filter here, and that's called the map. And what that does is it shows me there's one over here in San Francisco, there's two in South Bay, which is headed down towards San Jose, and you're looking over here at Moraga, that's the East Bay, and then you're all the way over here in Pleasanton, you're all the way over here in Fremont, Milpitas area, and down in Sunnyvale. If you were to drive from San Rafael down to San Jose during traffic, You're going to probably have to go over here through Berkeley and come all the way down Highway 880 and get to San Jose. Depending on the time of day, that's going to take you 3 hours. So you definitely might, in Antioch, look, you're all the way over here in Antioch. If you want to get from San Francisco to Antioch, that's going to take you 3 hours. You're going to have to go all the way over here across the San Mateo Bridge, go over through Dublin. Man, if you try and do that between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, you have to go up over here. It's hours and hours. So depending on your needs and your area, you might want to use different filters. So I'm going to go back to the gallery and I'm going to use the search of not relevance and not newest and not oldest, because you can go from oldest to newest and newest to oldest. You can also go from the lowest price to the highest price and the highest price to the lowest price. I find I can't get all this information in my head. The first one is a $5,000 car. The next is $4,700. The next is $2,300. The next is $2,550. The next is $3,000. Then it's $1,000. Then $4,200. Then $4,800. Then $1,500. Then $5,499. I can't organize that information, so I go from the highest price to the lowest price. So right here I have a $12,500 2011 Taurus, and then it goes all the way down to a $1,000 Taurus, okay? So some of these might not even be Tauruses. There might be the word Taurus in the ad somewhere, and that's another filter that we'll get to, but not right now. So what am I gonna do with these other filters over here? I might not be interested in a car that costs $12,000, or I might not be interested in a car that costs $54.99. I'm not sure why anybody would put 99, but there you go. So you can use this filter right here, which is, let's just say I want $1,500 to be my lowest price, and then I want $4,000 to be my highest price. Let's say that I'm looking for a car that's $3,000, so I put that price range in there. Now, why is that problematic? It's problematic because somebody might put 4K, and they might put 1.5K. If they put 1.5 and 4K, you're not going to get $1,500 to $4,000, because those numbers are going to be screened out because it's under $1,500. Hopefully you understand what I just said. If you don't, I'm not sure how much I can explain it better. All right, so I'm going to hit down here, apply. So I have 3,000, 3,000, 2,550, 2,300, and 1,500. Now we can talk a little bit later about the valuation of cars and how to find their values, but if I get rid of these filters on the price, I might find a car that someone's selling for 3K that's $3,000, but they're using an abbreviation. So I'm gonna open up this ad here. It's the first one, and I'm gonna look at it very quickly, and I see that it's in Brentwood and Oakley. I have the map, which also matches. That's also Brentwood and Oakley. Many times people put in the wrong zip code, and the map and the car are actually for sale in Los Angeles or something, and they put in the wrong zip code and they didn't check their ad. It says 2002 Ford Taurus, $3,000. And then I look at the map, I see that it's also the same area. And then there's a drop-down menu when they're placing their ad. 2002 Ford Taurus, that matches. Condition, they say it's good, 6 cylinders. The number of cylinders on the Ford Tauruses is only 6. I think the show model might have an 8-cylinder, but I'm not sure. If they said 4 cylinders, I would think that they don't know their car. They're usually all front-wheel drives. Of course, they're all gasoline. The odometer here is 200,000 miles. There's a filter that I'll use later to screen those ones out because I'm not interested in cars with that many miles. Paint color is silver. Full size, you could argue and say it's a mid-size. Title status is clean. That's very important to me. The transmission is an automatic. For selling cars, that's important for the cars that I like. I don't really care if they're automatic or stick shift. And it's a sedan, meaning it's a 4-door. A coupe is a 2-door. They have different items you can pull on your drop-down menu. So selling my 2002 Ford Taurus SE, runs and drives great, AC ice cold, passed smog in July, currently registered till 2023. Come and check it out. $3,000 or best offer. Give me a call at, and then it has show contact information. I look down here, it says posted 28 days ago, updated 28 days ago. So this ad, this says 26. Oh, I misread it, 26 days ago. So this ad's been up for almost a month. And if you wanted to reply to this ad, it looks like we can pull up a phone number. So let me see if I can actually get that number to come up. And it says, please click each image containing a toy rabbit. Okay, so this is a way to screen out bots and the robots that get in here and basically send you a reply, but it's not a real reply. It's not an actual person interested in the ad. It's just a machine. And again, toy rabbits. Okay, so that's I think that's a real rabbit. These are toys. Interesting. Okay, so verify. And now I have to check for a fish underwater. What the heck? Okay, so this is interesting. More fish underwater. Okay. Some of the fish are out of water. So let's see what happens. Oh, okay, so that's good. So I finally got through that filter. And now if you look here carefully, I'll see if I can maybe zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. All right, so I want you to see that the person's put their phone number in here. They haven't put it in the body of the text exactly. You have to hit the contact link, but the phone number is there. And let's make sure it's an actual real phone number. So we have 925, that's an area code, 599, and then 6167. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little note of that. And the only reason why is when I am looking through some of these ads, I find the same phone number and the same formatting of the ad for different cars, and that's usually means that they're a car flipper or a dealer. One of the things that you can do is you can do a search on that phone number, and by doing a search on that phone number, you might find that it's listed for somebody who has a car dealership, and they're not actually selling the car as it were through the dealership. They're posting it as if it's an owner, but it's actually being sold through a dealer. There's problems with that I'll get into later, but I don't want to cover that right now. Okay, so here we have the pictures. Okay, so let me change my focus here a little bit. Okay, so by looking at the car, and make this a little bit bigger. Sorry, but I'm not a professional with all this stuff. Okay, what am I looking for when I'm looking at a car? First of all, this is a bumper cover on the front. These are relatively easy to replace. You can get a bumper cover and replace it in about an hour. Same thing for the back bumper cover. So if the bumper covers are in really good shape, it doesn't mean the car's never been in an accident, that's for sure. But what you're looking for front end accidents is this area here is not even. You're looking for body damage, hitting poles all around the bottom of the car. You're looking for color match between the doors and the body panels. You're also looking for sun damage up here on the top. I can see that there's definite sun damage on the top. The paint's messed up here. I don't see anything major in terms of not straight lines. It doesn't look like the windows are cracked or broken. And so far the first picture looks reasonably good. So then I'm gonna go to the second picture. All right. What am I looking for? A couple things. Tires are all full of shiny stuff. That means somebody sprayed Armor All on there. What is that? It's basically petroleum jelly. The sun hits it, it causes it to dry out, and it cracks all the rubber. I don't really like that stuff. Meguiar's is a good brand to use that will restore the UV inhibitors. Armor All is garbage. I'm looking back here, and as I look to the back of the car on the top, I can definitely tell there's sun damage up here. So the top of the car may be really messed up. I can also see some sun damage right here, so the paint's a little bit messed up. But as far as the lines go, it looks relatively straight. I don't see anything that makes it look like it was obviously an accident. And now I'm going to the other side of the car, and again, I'm going through straight lines. Those definitely look older. They don't look like they've been replaced, so if they're brand new, they might have been replaced. I can tell there's sun damage on the top of the car. Might be hard to see in the pictures because of that sunlight, but the bottom line is there's damage on the sun. Windows look okay. I see a dent right here, not a big deal. The rest of the car looks pretty straight. Alloy rims, all right, looks okay so far. Nothing looks really bent or out of place, like the hood doesn't shut or something like that. So you go to the inside of the car. What do you see inside the car? Well, I see the key, and you might say, well, why are you looking at the key? I'm looking at the key to see if it has anything hanging off the side of it that might be a way to identify the car, which would definitely be a dealer of some type, whether it's an actual dealer or just somebody who is a dealer or a car flipper. They usually have some tag on the car key fob that basically lets them know which car it is because they're selling multiple cars. And then it has one of these horrible dollar store things in there that makes the car smell awful, and I just hate those things. I don't see any of the fabric ripped up or torn. It looks really clean. I don't see any cigarette burns right off. Maybe one over there. And the floor looks pretty clean. It has the carpets in place, and it has the original stereo climate control system. And it looks like it's got, you know, the power window switches over here look okay. The door looks okay. So then I go to the next picture, and what am I seeing down here? Some torn up fabric a little bit. Doesn't look like too bad. This part where people hit here when they come in and out of the car, if that's really worn out, there've been a lot of in and out of that car. And the seat belt, believe it or not, if the seat belt's all torn up, that's also a good indication that the car's been really heavily used. This is the back seat area, so it's, you know, relatively clean usually. If someone's been living in it, it won't be so clean. But I'm not really seeing enough detail, and the detail I'm missing is the license plate. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I'm going to go back over the car real quick. Definite sun damage. I'm not seeing a whole lot of pictures of the door panels on the inside, and I did see something interesting there. I'm going to go back to looking right there, and I'm seeing, oops, sorry. I'm looking at that, and I'm seeing a folder. Yeah, there it was, right here. Okay, there's a folder inside there. That's probably all the information of the car. Most people do not keep their information in a manila folder in the car. So that lets me know that this is probably a car flipper, like 99% sure. Okay, so enough of this car. Now what I'm gonna do is get out of this particular ad, and I'm gonna go back to this ad, and I'm gonna see if this is the same car. It does look like the same car. In fact, it is the same car. 200,000 miles, 6-cylinder, and this one was posted 5 days ago. So this person is a car flipper. They're trying to sell the car. Pretty damn sure it's the same exact car, same mileage and everything, but now it's listed in Moraga. That's a different area. That's not that far from Antioch, but it's definitely not Antioch. Moraga is a very high-priced area to live. Antioch, not so much. So same car. Can I get any more information out of these pictures? And maybe not. So, you know, I could look at them and see, do I see any body damage here? You'll notice these pictures are crisper. There's a cleaner look to these pictures. And you can definitely see the sun damage on the top of the car a lot better. So this hood or top of the car is really messed up. And I can't really see any other body damage, but a blurry picture sometimes is meant to hide the damage that's in the car. Okay, so same car, much crisper pictures, and you definitely see there's sun damage to the top of the car. So this one's a little different. Craigslist, Ford Taurus, same. He probably put this on his phone because there's no punctuation in any of his ad. There's like one period right there, and then the rest of it is nothing. So now I see I have smog still in very good condition, used daily to commute all over. I just bought a new car. I have title ready and current tags until next year, period. I'm asking for 3,000 or best offer. So this was posted 12 days ago, updated 5 days ago, same car. So I wouldn't be interested in this car. First of all, it's $3,000 for a 200,000 mile car. Forget it, not even interested. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out of that and go look at a different car. Now I'm gonna go look at this car, and that's a 2003 Ford Taurus. All right, so here's some problems with this car. I'm not going to do all these on every single ad, but here's a problem with this car. First thing I noticed, same thing I noticed on the last car. No license plate. Why is that important? If there's no license plate, I can't look up the smog history on the car. It's going to be very difficult to check and see if this car's a legitimate car or if it even has license plates on it. So this is a 2003 Ford Taurus SES that has the model number on it also. Here's what he says. Not a beauty, but good low mileage transportation. Well, that depends on if that's the original motor and the original transmission and it hasn't been damaged. You might have a worse car at 80,000 miles than you do at 200,000 miles. Depends on the maintenance. So 2003 Ford Taurus with less than 80,000 miles might actually be a junk car. So again, I'm looking for straight lines here. No body damage. These quarter panels, by the way, are super easy to replace on the Ford Taurus. There's like 4 bolts up here, and there's a couple bolts down here, and there's 2 bolts behind this headlamp, and then there's another couple bolts back here by the door, and you can replace this whole quarter panel in like an hour. So the paint is maybe a little better than the last one, and we're gonna go to looking at these lines, and so you see these lines look pretty straight. All right, gas cap, these lines looks okay. And if you notice that they have not included the license plate, which you don't even know if there is a license plate on this car. So this car could be at a tow yard, which you don't want to deal with, because if you go to a tow yard, you're not going to know how much DMV fees are owed. The car gets towed by a tow yard. The tow yard applies for the title. They get the title, and then the car might owe for 3 years of back fees. That might be why it got towed. And then you go to DMV to register the car, and you have to pay $1,000 in back fees. So you don't want to deal with tow yards, in my opinion. Okay, so you look at the inside of the car. Now on the inside of the car, again, it's clean. Believe it or not, there's 4 bolts on these seats. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pop this whole seat out, disconnect the wires, and clean this seat outside the car with a garden hose and some nice Meguiar spray foam, and you can make that seat look pretty new. So it's not that hard to make these cars look clean, even though they might have been filthy when they came in. But you see the foam looks okay. The foam here looks okay. The seatbelt looks all right. I don't see anything obvious. And the reason I didn't like that other car is because not only high mileage, but it didn't show these panels. And this fabric here on these panels oftentimes falls off. So I know this particular model car, it's why I'm dealing with this. You can't see for sure what the odometer is. The car's not turned on. I can't see the key, but it looks pretty clean. The dash doesn't look all cracked up. Go to the next one. Look at the back seat. Well, back seat's clean. Doesn't look like anyone lived in there. It's got the cheap, floor mats. I don't see a manila folder in here with the information in the car. And, it just doesn't look all trashed up. They're easy to clean up, though. It's not a big deal if it is dirty. So go to the next picture, and you see the engine. Unless you really know what to look for in an engine, pictures of the engine don't really help a whole lot, but they might. In other words, you could see they look like original plugs, original coil pack, original alternator maybe. Does it look like anything's been recently replaced? Does it look like there's electrical tape or anything else that looks funky or weird? So that might help you a little bit, but a lot of people, it's not going to help them too much. All right, so now we have a picture of the odometer. And that's good because it's a good example of how these odometers are mechanical like this. Maybe they call it analog, I'm not sure. But in any case, you see the 076513 seem to line up pretty good. So it's under 80,000 miles. If these numbers look like they don't line up, you don't want to touch that car. Somebody's rolled the odometer back. There's a couple other ways to check the odometer for accuracy by getting a Carfax or some other information. And if you find any discrepancies at all, just get away from that car. If anyone's messed with the odometer, just don't have anything to do with the car. So you see this price here is $25.50, 80,000 miles. I'm still not interested in this car. And here's the reason why. Largest dent on the roof above the rear window. Okay, this is the back of the car, the rear window. It looks like a tree fell on this car, so the top is all messed up. And then you see that they hit something on the side of the car and maybe hit a pole. That's not a big problem, a curb or whatever they hit, but that drag that goes through there, it could have hit the tire as it went through, and if it hit the tire, it could have messed up the back of the car. It could have bent the rim, it could have messed up the bearings, it could mess up the axle. So it's an iffy situation, but it might not be that bad. So real clean inside, major dent on the roof, major dent over here that could have messed up the rest of the car, but not a huge deal. You can replace the door. That's easy enough. They can be 50 or 100 bucks over at Pick and Pull, but you're not gonna fix this, not with, basic fixing. You can pull some of that out, maybe put some Bondo and repaint it, but that's part of the car. It's not just a quarter panel, it's basically part of the car. So, and then you have another dent on the front quarter panel. These are easy to replace, but whether or not you'd get a perfect paint match on some panel you pick up for 60 or 70 bucks at a Pick and Pull, it's questionable. So, that's another car. So let's go to another Ford Taurus. Okay, so now we have this Ford Taurus, a 98 Ford Taurus. On the Tauruses, you have the generation of 96 to 99. They look like this with the circular windows, and they're actually pretty good cars. Actually, they get pretty good mileage. They're aerodynamic and they're super easy to work on, but usually they have quite a bit of miles on them, and if they haven't been properly maintained, they might not be something anyone would want to buy. Then you have a 2005 Ford Taurus, so you have the next generation, which I think went from 00 to 96 to 99, and then you had 2000 to 2007. So anything 2008 is not really a Ford Taurus per se. It's actually the Ford Taurus platform with the Ford 500 body on it. So it's the 2008s and up are actually really nice cars. They're actually really nice cars. They're fun to drive too. They remind me more of the Sables, the older Sables, but they're not. They're more luxurious and just better cars. The only problem with the 2008s and up is they have an internal water pump, and to replace the water pump is about 1,100 bucks. So you want to know the maintenance history if you're going to get a newer one. So 2000 Ford Taurus, cash only. I don't know why he says that, but it's important to him. Let's just look at this older 98 Ford Taurus, and we see that it's a 98 Ford Taurus. Condition is supposedly good. Gas, 113,000 miles. Title status is clean. Transmission's automatic. And we see a nice listing, a very professional looking listing. Something tells me this person might be a car flipper. Okay, where is this car? It's in supposedly in the Alameda area. And the paint is obviously very, very bad. So lots of sun damage. The car's been parked in the sun, and this side of the car looks like it's been hit by the sun. So a little bit of a bumper issue back here. Real dried out plastic. Inside of the car is going to be damaged from the sun too. So if you don't care what the car looks like, there you go. Those are hubcaps, not alloy wheels. And I'm not sure what model it is. What submodel, the whole back of the cars, yeah, all this clear coat and paint is just really messed up. And I see the plate right there, so I'm gonna pull up the plate, and I can see that that's the way it works in California is number, letter, 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 number, number, number. So I can't read the whole plate right here, but I can definitely see tons of damage, and I'm not sure they had a bumper sticker or something on the back of this car. Some more damage, and the hood is all bent up. Car's pretty jacked. You know, I mean, anyone's interested in that car, oh, it's been in a really bad accident in the front. So, you know, how much would you pay for a car like this? They want $2,300 posted 5 days ago. And let's see what they're lying about. All original. Yeah, it looks like it. Only 113,000 miles. The thing with Ford Tauruses is the transmissions need to be serviced every 30,000 miles. It's not that hard to do. You drop the pan underneath, you replace the filter in 6 1/4 quarts of fluid. It holds 13 quarts, so you're only taking out some fluid. It's a half an hour job if you know what you're doing, maybe a little more. And it basically saves your transmission. If you don't service the transmissions and you go 30,000, 60,000, 90,000, 120,000, well, you've missed several transmission services and the transmission might already be shot. Strong engine, smooth automatic transmission, current smog. Okay, we don't know what they mean by current. Could be current within the last 2 years. In California, you have to have a smog within 90 days to get it registered with the DMV. And it's supposed to be done by the seller, and that's the law, actually. New tires, okay, so it has a couple $100 worth of new tires. No leaks, supposedly. Slight damage to front from a fender bender, okay. Cold AC, might have just been recharged, or it might actually be working properly. Well maintained. Yes, you can see it's been very well maintained. Oh my gosh, it looks like garbage. Starts right up and will drive anywhere today with no problems. Well, I'm not worried about where it's going to drive today. I'm worried more like a month or a month and a half from now when all of a sudden all the problems they covered up start to show up. Now this is interesting. I'm going to show you this if I can. Try and focus on the phone number and see if I can show you. This one says area code and the number 510-295-753. These are all digits, but then it says FIVE. This is a person who sold cars or sold things on Craigslist before, and they can put their phone number, but they know to put their phone number in a way that the robots don't pull it up. If you put your phone number on this ad, you're gonna get all kinds of robots responding to your ad. Never put your phone number in the body of the ad. Craigslist allows you to anonymize your email address, and that's one of the reasons I really like Craigslist. Okay, so I'm done with this car. I'm not at all interested in this car, but just for purposes of showing you what it looks like inside, does it show the minor damage in the front? The hood's bent, the front end is smashed in, the radiator's probably messed up. The electrical's over here, the battery's over here. That car could have all kinds of problems. Headlamp maybe doesn't work. And oh, check this out. This is fascinating. So here we have a good example of a car flipper. 100% for sure a car flipper, all right? Now, why do I say 100% car flipper? That is not the same car. That is not a 98 Ford Taurus, okay? So if you notice, it almost looks like I went to a completely different ad. I didn't. This is a completely different car. As you can see, this is a Suzuki, a 6WVV519. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna show you how to look up the smog history of a car. You also see that says December, and that's 21. So this car was recently sold, and I can see the phone number in there. Looks like a, I don't know, 925 something something 535. So that's the same phone number, same person. But that car, December, that's It's what month is it now? It's September, middle of September, towards the end of September. So that car is 9 months past registration, unless they just didn't put the new sticker on there because they want to save the sticker. It definitely looks like Alameda. If you know the area, it does look like Alameda, so maybe that's legit. But here we just went from a person saying that they're selling this piece of junk to, in the same ad, they're selling some other car. So this is definitely a car flipper. This is somebody who buys and sells cars. All right, so we're not interested in that. So now we're going to go over here to this last Ford Taurus, and posted 24 days ago. So I look down here and I see again posted 24 days ago. Now I'm seeing it's a salvage title. I don't buy cars with salvage titles. That means they've been in an accident like that other car, and the insurance company said that the car is not worth fixing because it's 80% of the value of the car is what they're going to cost. So let's say you had a $10,000 car and it needed $8,000 worth of repairs. The insurance company would simply send you a check. They say it's no good. So 158,332 miles. Car's at the end of its life anyway. Plus it's a salvage title. How much are they asking for this car? $1,500, cash only. Hey, if it runs and you're desperate for a car, I guess maybe it's something you at least could, drive for a while. It might be worth $500 to you to have a car for a few months. So it's a 2005 Ford Taurus, salvage title, front wheel drive, gas, paint color silver, full size, salvage title, manual transmission. I seriously doubt that it has a manual transmission. These cars rarely would ever come with a manual transmission. I'm just not sure that they have them, and certainly not in that model. So they made a mistake there, or they don't know the car. I don't know. This car is in fine mechanical condition. I had to jump start it today. God, it makes me want to laugh. But I believe that's because it sat unused for 3 months. Once started, it ran fine. So that tells you a little bit about the fact the battery is dead. You're into $200 for a new battery for this car. Probably needs an alternator, or something's up with the wiring. So you're looking at $300 or $400 on top of that $1,500 just to get the car going. And that's if you know how to replace the alternator and the drive belt and some other stuff. The driver's seat is ripped open. It has some body damage repaired. Was in a wreck that caused the front hood and bumper damage. Pictures are attached. Tires are new. We replaced before we found a newer car for our family. This should be a solid car for someone. Should. Yeah, it's a very solid car. If you hit on it, it won't bend. But that doesn't mean it's going to run. So let's go to some of the other pictures. Look at that big gap right there. See that huge gap? It does have a sunroof. That'll be great because if you're going to live in it, then at least you can have a little fresh air. The damage is right here. You can see this is almost new, and so this headlamp has been replaced. That's not original. There's no way that's a 17-year-old headlamp. Let's go to the next picture, and you can see right around the headlamp area where the car was smashed. So you see the bumper cover is really cracked up, and the hood is bent up. So let's go to the next picture. Okay. A better picture of how damaged that hood is. It's not going to shut properly. It's going to vibrate when you're driving down the road. Maybe that's no big deal for you. And another dent over here on the side of the car on the passenger front door. So again, the seat's a little bit ripped up. It is leather, and so the leather is kind of bad condition and it's a little bit cracked. That's probably the driver's seat. Yeah, because there's the seat belt clip right there. And that's all the pictures you got. So we've learned a lot. I've been on this thing for 38 minutes, and it's time to basically change this around. So I'm gonna go to another Craigslist, and I'm going to, I went into the wrong site. All right, I'm gonna go to another Craigslist. And Sacramento, and I'm going to do the same thing but differently. So again, I'm going to go to Craigslist. And I'm going to go to my account. I'm going to show you what happened to me the other day. Okay? So I'm covering up certain information here, but I went and looked at a Ford Taurus, and this is what I found. All right? It was that car. The guy had 6 other cars for sale. I pulled a Carfax on the car just before I went there because for 25 or 30 bucks, I can pull the Carfax and see if there's any history there. What did I find? I found out the car has, and I posted this ad. This is my ad. So I posted an ad of the same car as a way to let people know. I had to pay $5 for this ad, but I had the Craigslist information in front of me, and I saw that he was trying to cheat people, and I saw that he was a car flipper and a dealer, and his cars were garbage. All of them were, and he was lying about every car. One of his cars had a muffler hanging underneath the car with some wire. I looked underneath the car, and it was held on by wire. Well, wrong muffler, wrong everything on that car. It was a mess. In fact, it had been from out of state, and it was flooded, and you could see rust inside the car from the salt water. So I posted this ad. This is my ad. And he might be mad about that if he finds out, but he's selling his car for $2,800, so I put $2,799. And that way, hopefully people will see this ad. So what did I find out? It's been in 2 accidents according to the Carfax. One was in 2007, one was in March of 2022. When I got there, the paint on the upper area of the car was horrible on all the upper surfaces. The gas cap was bent. The engine low oil pressure warning light came on, and it had some problems with the exhaust system. One of the tires was from 2017, but 3 of the tires were from 2014. Now, the way you can tell the tire codes is really simple. You have 4 numbers on the tire code, okay? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 2 numbers are the week of the year, and the second 2 numbers are the year. So if it says 0107, that's the first week of 2007. If it says 2314, that's the 23rd week of 2014. So those 3 tires were 8 years old. 8-year-old tires, not really safe to drive on. The driver's side headlamp had moisture inside of it. It was on Santa Ana Avenue in Sacramento. He's a car dealer. He had a bunch of other cars for sale. He was firm on his price of $2,800. I did make him an offer because I could clean that car up and sell it. And it's a decent car for some people. And I could probably find out what some of the problems are and, whatever. The pros, it ran okay. It shifted okay. The AC did work good. The interior was very clean. It had a recent smog, and it's registered. It has plates and current registration through next year. But unfortunately, these are his pictures, not my pictures. When you look at these pictures, you can see he's selling this car, runs and drives, smogged and registered, clean title, no mechanical problems. That's not true. It has a low pressure oil warning light on. That's a problem. So you can't see the paint. The paint was completely messed up. Now, if you look really clear closely at this, you think you can see the paint, but this is a purposefully blurry picture. Come on, this guy's a dealer. He sells all kinds of cars. What can I see from this now that I've seen the actual car? Well, here's what I can see. That hood's not shutting properly. Okay, so that's definitely a problem. That area of the hood is closer. That area is further. The car was hit over here. It pushed the car that way, smashed it in, and this part's lifted up, that part's lifted up, and that part's pushed in. And the paint on the top of this car was absolutely horrible. So he purposefully made the pictures blurry to keep you from seeing that. Also, there was some information that he didn't even clean off here, which shows you that this bumper cover came from Pick and Pull. Right? I didn't see that, but once I went and looked at the car, I definitely did see it. So you can see that it's a current registration, goes through 2023, whatever. Anyway, here you can definitely see the paint is very messed up. It's not a shadow. It's actually really, really bad paint, the whole top of the car. In fact, it looks like the front and back were repainted and badly repainted, maybe even the top, and the paint was completely jacked. Car was just ugly, basically. You can't see the gas cap here, but the gas cap was bent, right? So you think, oh, it's not that bad, but look at the paint. If you look carefully, I could have seen that the paint was messed up, but I didn't. And the body looks straight here, but again, the paint's messed up, and he's blurring these pictures on purpose. I asked him about it, and he said, oh no, it's in great condition. He lied to me. So I've got this other ad up to show people, hey, it's got a problem. Again, here we go. This part is much closer. That part is open. This car's been in an accident. For sure, this car's been in a front end accident, and the car got hit over here somewhere probably, and it pushed in that part of the car, popped open that hood a little bit, and crunched in something on the bumper, which can cause problems over here with the doors opening if it's pushes in hard enough. If it cracks the windows or anything like that, the car could be really jacked up, but it could mess up the suspension. You can even see here where there's a big gap right here, and that's tight. So it pushed in the bottom of the bumper. You can see the paint's messed up, and the plastic bumper cover is a little bit buckled, and there's more space there than there should be. So you can get a lot of information from the pictures. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of this. Oh, try it again. And again, you can see the paint's real messed up, right? And you can see a gap there. And you can see that that's a tighter area and that's a little more open. So the damage was over here, right in the middle of the bumper, which he's covering up, and he's purposefully hiding the front of the car where the damage is. So the inside's clean, it's leather, the leather looks good, the dash isn't cracked, it's good. People didn't use Armor All on there, and that Vaseline basically is what it is, and it messes up your plastics. So, you do see a lot of information, and I pulled the Carfax. And so when I pulled the Carfax, I'll just show you what a Carfax looks like. Some of you might not have seen a Carfax, but I put the Carfax in there. And it basically says accident, 2 previous owners. He may not have properly registered the car, so it should probably say 3 owners. So he's doing what's called a skip title. He gets the title from somebody, he doesn't fill all the stuff out, and then he leaves the back of the title empty and sells the car to you. And so it doesn't show up as being registered with the DMV, so it may have more owners than this. But there's at least 2 previous owners. Personal vehicle, meaning it's never been, theoretically, it's never been a rental, maybe not a business, but you don't know. Last owned in California. You want to buy California only cars if you can, because if they're from out of state, they could have serious rust problems, or they could be rebuilt titles from floods in the Gulf Coast, Florida, Louisiana, Texas. Those cars get flooded. They get salt water in them, they clean them up, and they push them over to California or somewhere else, and they sell them, and that salt water causes all kinds of damage. You don't want those cars. So it does say that the 85,000 miles is the last reported odometer, so that looks authentic. Then we go to the next page of the Carfax, and we see it's not salvage, not junk, not rebuilt, not fire, not flood. It's not a lemon, and not hail damage. So they say guaranteed no problems, but I have seen many cars that had been in accidents where the accident wasn't reported, and there definitely was a history of an accident. So not actual mileage. Again, it depends on if the Carfax information is reported to the companies that Carfax pulls its information from. So theoretically, not a total loss, no structural damage. Airbag deployment, no. Odometer check looks legit. Minor damage, yes. No recalls, you're not sure 100%. And they give you some kind of warranty at Carfax. Anyway, tells you it was hit in the rear end. and it tells you that this happened on 10/15 of 2007. So that's a reason why you might want to get a Carfax. It's only 30 bucks. It's not that bad. And unfortunately, no history except past emissions, past emissions, past emissions, past. This person probably did not maintain their car properly, which is why it's reading a low pressure on the oil. Okay, so basically inside the car, you have cylinders. Let's just say they're like this cup, and the cylinder is going up and down in the engine, and there's these rings, and if you don't use proper amounts of oil, the rings come out away from the piston and push against the cylinder walls. And if there's not enough oil, what happens is as that ring is pressing up against that cylinder wall, it's scratching the cylinder wall wider and wider open, and you can't get good oil pressure. So a low pressure oil indicator could be a minor problem, could be a major problem, could be a sign of several things. Anyway, minor damage to the front end. So you have 2 accidents here. So that's why I posted this ad. I had to drive all the way down there, looked at the car, and I found out the person was a cheat. Okay, so let's go to cars and trucks. All right, here I am on cars and trucks. So back to how do I do this? And this time I'm gonna go through the filters, and I'm gonna try to show, let's see if I can change the view here a little bit. Get this a little bit straighter. And I'm gonna go through my notes, and hopefully we're gonna wrap this up. It's probably gonna take me about 15 minutes. Okay, so Craigslist, Sacramento, for sale, cars and trucks. First thing I wanna do is click on this right here where it says owner, okay? Because I have page 1 of 1 to 120 of 3,000. There's probably even more. And then this is listed by the newest, okay? So I have all the cars. I don't want all the cars. So I'm gonna push the filter for owner, okay? Now I still have 1 to 120 of 3,000 cars, so I can't be looking at BMWs and Volvos and Model A replicas and Plymouth Prowlers and Ford F-350 diesels. That's just too many cars. So search titles only is one filter. Now, what do they mean by title? We're not talking about a clean title or a salvage title. We're talking about the title, meaning this, the title of the car, 2001 BMW, Volvo. That's the title that this box refers to. Has an image. Definitely, I only want images, but if I click that box, there might be somebody selling a car that I'm interested in, but they don't know how to post an image. And if they don't know how to post an image, they might be able to send me one on their phone, but they don't know how to upload it to Craigslist, so I don't check that box. Posted today. If you're really up on Craigslist and you're checking it every day, maybe you only want the posted today or what would be the newest filter. Bundle duplicates, I don't do that. You can bundle the duplicates, but let's say that this Volvo right here for $5,400 in Sacramento, 2008 Volvo, let's say that this person's been desperately trying to sell this car and they've posted 6 ads. I'm interested to know if they've posted 6 ads. I don't want to bundle all their duplicates. I want to see all their duplicates, because one might be for $5,900, the next might be for $5,700, and the next one might be for $5,400. So I see that they're dropping their price, and I might be able to make them an offer if I want a car that I see they're desperate to sell it. When you repost your ad, it refreshes and it goes to the top of Craigslist. So maybe they're just doing it for that reason. Okay, miles from this location. You can put in a zip code and you can search within a mile radius of, I think it goes up to 250 miles, 30 miles to 250 miles. So you can put in the miles and that might help you. You can use the map. We've talked about that. You can put in the price. Now let's be more specific about putting in the price. Here's the problem with putting in the price. If I put in 1,500 to 3,000, I'm gonna get a lot of cars. But let's just do this, okay? Let's put in $1. Okay, I'm gonna put in $1. Now, is anybody selling a car for $1? No, nobody's selling a car for $1, but I'm gonna put update search. And look what just happened. All these cars for $1. Deal of the day, right? I'll bet you there's somebody in there who even put in 0. Another thing that people will do is they'll put for the price. I don't know why they do this, but they put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will actually make their price look like it's selling for $1,234,000. It's insane. I don't know why they do it, but a lot of people use the $1, and then they have a 1969 Camaro that they're asking, who knows, $100,000 for, right? $1 for a 69 Jeep. So if you use the filter, you may screen out the cars that you are interested in. So every filter you use filters in some results and filters out some results. So right here, I'm gonna put Taurus, and this is the proper spelling. Let's suppose somebody spells it wrong. If I use the spelling of the Taurus, I'm gonna miss 4 Tauruses. That the person misspelled the name. So now I have 20 results. Okay, so I'm gonna write this down. I have 20 Taurus. And if I was to use all and Ford Taurus and no other filters on the money, I've got 1,303. So I've got 20 Ford Tauruses for sale by owner, but 1,303 that are dealers. So that's problematic. I'm not buying a car from a dealer. So I'm gonna go back to owner, and I see 20 vehicles. Now, here we have the search terms of relevant, oldest, newest, lowest price to highest price to lowest price. So I'm gonna use highest price to lowest price as my filter. And I see a 2013 Ford Taurus show, okay, which is the more powerful of them. And I'm not interested in that. So I'm gonna go over here and say my top price for the car, I'm gonna put as $4,000. So that's a filter I'm gonna use. Now here, because I know some people will put 1.5 instead of 1,500, I'm gonna put 1. Now actually I'm gonna put a different number. I'm gonna put 3. No, what should I put? I'll just put 1, whatever, I'll just put 1. Well, actually I'm not gonna put anything. Let's just see what happens if I put nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna apply owner with $4,000, and I'm not gonna use the miles, I'm not gonna use the make and model, I'm not gonna use the odometer, I'm not gonna use any of these other filters I'll go over in a second. If you're still watching this video, you're interested in learning all these other tricks. Okay, so update the search. And that number just went to 10. So now I have 10 Ford Tauruses that still come up as under $4,000. All right, so now here you see, this is the 2004 Ford Taurus that I was telling you about for $2,800. And you see the ad that I posted for $27.99. It cost me $5 plus driving out there, having a friend who was ready to go drive the car back for me, 2-hour drive out, 2-hour drive back, gasoline. I've already spent about $225 to $250 on just going to look at a car. With all the money that I invest in, my time and everything else, minimally, it's close to $175 for me to go look at a car. So when I sell a car, I might make a certain amount of money, but you have to think about all the money I've invested to find that car, look at it, and clean it up and fix it. And the so-called profit margin is usually pretty slim. Before COVID, I could find these cars all day for $15 to $2,000. And now you're looking at double that price for the same car with the same mileage. It's just changed everything pre-COVID and post-COVID. So this car here is a 2005 Ford Taurus. This is a 95 Ford F-150. How come that comes up? Well, let's look and see why it comes up. So we pull up the ad and we go down here and we know this is a dealer. Why do we know this is a dealer? Because look at all the keywords or what he calls tags. This person has put in every single type of car and every single year, 92, 93, 94, 95, all the way up to 2021. This person is definitely some sort of a dealer, and they're flipping cars and they're trying to make money off of a 95 Ford F-150 for $1,900. It has 217,000 miles. The title is missing. It runs and drives. Wonderful. 217,000. Barely didn't pass smog. Now, how does he know it barely didn't pass smog? The exhaust has been white smoke, but still runs like a champ. If it's white smoke, that means it's blown a head gasket. No title, no plates, bill of sale only, full price offers only. Finding a running car for this cheap is rare in the current market. I am in no rush to get rid of it. Great work or ranch farm truck. Yeah, if you were living on a farm, you wouldn't need to worry about all that registration as long as it never left the farm. So basically, this is a piece of junk that nobody should want, posted 26 days ago, and it's going to be impossible to register it because it's not going to pass smog. You're probably going to have to rebuild the engine, and who's going to do that at 215,000 miles? So you're going to be into that car for $5,000 by the time you get done fixing it up. Why even bother? So you see that you might be looking for a Ford Taurus, but up comes a completely different car. Let's look at this one here. This is a 2004 Mercedes. Why am I seeing a Mercedes? Same reason, okay? Down here at the bottom, they put in as the keywords all these different words. Buick, Challenger, Acura, Accord, Volkswagen, Oldsmobile, Saturn, Taurus. Posted about a month ago, updated 14 days ago. I wouldn't buy a Mercedes for any reason, especially 2004. Oh my God, with 142,000 miles. Oh, it's going to need all kinds of work. So you're going to put in a search term for Taurus, and you're going to end up with cars that are not Tauruses. Let's look at this 97 Ford Taurus here, $1,900. Okay, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at 193,000 miles and clean title. Let's say that you're interested in a car that's under $2,000 and you're hoping that this car still has some life left in it. What the car looks like, important, but how it runs is way more important. Okay, so let's read through this now. 97 Ford Taurus, runs and drives good, smogged last week. That's good because it has to be within 90 days. V6 motor, 195K miles. Motor and transmission reliable. How does he know? Just replace the breather hoses. Okay. Flex fuel compatible means it uses different kinds of fuel, different gasoline octane numbers. Has a dent on the driver's side fender. We'll look at that in a second. All four tires good condition. Well, that depends on what you mean by good condition. Interior in nice condition. Interesting. Driver's side window slow going down. AC blows cold. Compressor making noise like it's going to need to be replaced eventually. Yeah. Great overall car. Asking $1,900. Posted 2 days ago. Updated a day ago. So there's another car right there that I wouldn't be interested in. And as I'm looking at the car, I can't see hardly anything. It's parked in front of a school. That school was built in maybe the 1950s or something. So let's take a closer look. He's parked in front of a school for some reason, and you see this quarter panel is completely smashed in. That quarter panel did not get smashed without smashing the bumper cover too. So this bumper cover, oh man, I didn't mean to do that. The bumper cover has been replaced. That is not the bumper cover that came with the car. You can tell that those are two different colors. They're both silver, but this is maybe from a different year, and that's all jacked up, but he replaced the bumper cover, which means that if something smashed into this area of the car, the battery is over here, but there's really nothing in this area. It's fine. But it probably hit this rim and your alignment could be out, your axle could be messed up, there could be all kinds of problems in this area of the car. So it would be important to take it on a test drive, let go of the steering wheel, see if it wobbles, see if it drives straight, turn in circles, turn forwards and backwards. Yeah, by the way, always remember to drive the car in reverse, because some people will buy a car without ever putting it in reverse. If you do that, you might get down the road and find out that the transmission's messed up. You can see the paint is pretty messed up on the hood. Well, it's an older car, but my main concern is this part of the car was probably severely damaged, and this part was involved, and this bumper cover was replaced. So we look at the back, we see lots of paint damage on the top of the car. And I'm thinking this rear bumper cover's also been replaced. It does not look like it matches. Those look like two different colors. By the way, you go to a pick and pull sometimes and you can find a dozen of these cars. And so all the little parts are really easy to replace because there's so many of these cars out there. The Ford Taurus was meant to compete with the Camry and the Accord. No, not the Accord, the Civic, Honda Civic, and the Toyota Camry. And so it's an economy car. So maybe a rear end accident too. Yes, you do see that there's new tires, and yes, you do see the flex fuel vehicle symbol, which means it runs pretty good on almost any kind of gasoline you're gonna buy. The inside's pretty clean, but you see that the cushions are kind of worn out here, and this car's had a lot of traffic. You don't see the pedals too worn out. I don't see any mats on there, and the floor's in okay condition, and the dash isn't all cracked up. These older ones, they have everything is circular, so you see these weird circular patterns. They got rid of that. 96 to 99, you see a lot of circular stuff. That was their theme. Circular console. What is this called? The climate control and radio. And you can kind of see it's relatively clean. You know, it's a little bit worn out, but I've seen them so worn out, you can see nothing but metal on the pedal. Doesn't look like the window's broken. I don't know why he's parked in front of a school. And then you see 193,400 cars towards the end of its life, and this is broken. So this has been off the car or repaired, or something's happened here that this is broken. So not sure why the shifter on this car is broken, but that's not a good sign. And you can see right here that this dashboard has lifted. Some of these older cars, the dashboard literally like buckles from this heat in the sun. You can reattach them, but it's just something to be thoughtful of. Paint pretty much wrecked. Probably got armor all over the tires. Those are hubcaps, not alloy wheels. And definitely that's two different colors, so the bumper cover has definitely been replaced. So there you go. That's how to find cars on Craigslist. I went through a whole bunch of Ford Tauruses. Let me show you a couple other little things. I'm going to read my little list here, and I'm going to go back to the beginning of Craigslist, and I'm going to point out something really important. There is a Craigslist app. There's help, abuse, if you get abused on Craigslist. This one here, avoid scams and frauds. You want to read that if you're not familiar with Craigslist. Personal safety tips. A lot of people have been taken advantage of on Craigslist or robbed, and there's even been some people who've been killed because they responded to Craigslist ads. Privacy policy, again, that's important. That's why I like Craigslist, because they do give you the opportunity to remain anonymous. And about Craigslist, if you're interested, they're hiring. If you're into programming and you live in the San Francisco area, Craigslist is one of the best companies you can work for. The guy who owns it is a really cool guy. He could be worth $100 billion if he put advertising on all this, but he's doing this all over the world. You can go to Craigslist and go almost anywhere in the world, because you have the US, Canada, Europe, Asia Pacific, Middle East, Oceania, which is New Zealand, and Australia, Latin America, Africa. So he's all over the world. Most of the stuff you post here is free. He's got all the 50 states and districts. and you can go to almost any area and you can post some furniture that you're selling, or buy a car, or find a place to live, or all kinds of cool stuff. So I really like Craigslist. Let's see here. Let's go to California, and you'll understand why certain areas like Texas is a very large state. Lots of listings. New York, very dense areas. So you're going to have tons and tons of cars in certain areas. But California is a very, very big state, and you have lots of different areas. So I'm interested in going to only certain areas, and that's Mendocino County, Sacramento, and San Francisco Bay Area. So we're in San Francisco. Now we're going to go back into Sacramento, and I'm going to show you about avoiding scams and fraud. Deal locally face-to-face. Follow this one rule and avoid 99% of scam attempts. That is a fact. Do not provide payment to anyone you have not met in person. Beware of offers involving shipping. They're almost always scams. Never wire funds, as in never, ever, ever. They are a scam always. Don't accept a cashier or certified checks or money orders. They are fake. I've seen people making fake cashier's checks in copy stores, and they accidentally left some of the materials there when I went to use the machine, and they were fake. It will take 10 days for some of these fake cashiers or certified checks to clear your bank, and they are almost always fake. Don't accept them. Transactions between users only, no third parties is a guarantee, meaning if they say eBay will guarantee this, no, they won't. They absolutely 100% won't. So if they say, well, eBay will allow you to return it, no, they won't. Never give out your financial info, bank account, social security, PayPal account, etc. Do not rent or purchase sight unseen. You wouldn't believe how many people get ripped off on the rental stuff. They put in all their information to apply for an apartment, and all they're doing is they're scamming you and collecting information that they will use to rip you off. They could be in South America, they could be in Europe, they could be in Russia, and they're collecting information on you, and then they're going to sell that information. Refuse background checks or credit checks until you've met the landlord or employer in person. Again, that's critical. Craigslist is used for all kinds of scams. So Craigslist voicemails, or anybody trying to get a hold of you supposedly from Craigslist, it's not going to work. It's a ripoff. Now, if you get cheated, you can go through the police, you can do all these other kinds of things. But if you bought a car for $3,000 and it turned out to be a ripoff, or they sent you a fake cashier's check and you sold a refrigerator for $1,500 and the cashier's check didn't clear, do you really think that the Internet Fraud Complaint Center, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, or the state attorney generals, do you think they're really going to spend any time on your $1,500 or $3,000 or $5,000 complaint when they have people being ripped off for $50,000 or $100,000? No, they're not. So you're just better off to make sure it doesn't happen in the first place. For sale, cars and trucks. Now, I don't have a problem dealing with cash. I've handed cash over and received cash for quite a bit of money, and it doesn't bother me. But you can meet at a police station. In the police station, you can meet in a bank. You can do something that makes you feel safer. People get ripped off all the time because they're selling an iPhone. They pull up at a Starbucks or sitting outside at a cafe. Someone says, hey, are you the guy selling the iPhone? Oh, let me see it. They grab the phone from you, they jump in a car, and they take off. What are you going to do? Not much, okay? So cars and trucks, I'm going to use a different kind of car this time. I'm going to put Camry, okay? Everybody thinks Camrys and our Toyotas and Hondas last forever. No car lasts forever. Okay, so I'm going to put Camry, and you see 4,400 Camrys come up. All right, 98 Toyota Camry, $1,200. Okay, first thing I'm going to see here, it's missing a hubcap. How much care do you care for your car in Santa Rosa that you can't even go down and spend $30 on some new hubcaps? Okay, so I can scroll through these pictures pretty quickly, and I can get a good look at the car. It's probably pretty recent because it was raining here the last couple days. So, you know, the car doesn't look like it's too jacked up. Let's suppose I think I want to buy a 98 Camry. and I just hit on Camry. And now I'm looking at 345,220 miles. The V6 Camry, is this a V6? No, this is the 4-cylinder. Wow. These cars were some of the best cars that Toyota ever made. And yes, you can get 400,000 miles out of some of these Camrys, but you're at the very end of this car's life. Sometimes the state of California will give you $1,000 just to get the car off the road. It was posted 3 hours ago. Okay, it'll probably sell for $1,200. Here's the question I would have. Okay, so getting rid of my 98 Toyota Camry. It's a 4-cylinder. I like the 6 cylinders much better, but this will get good gas mileage. Has a new alternator, new brakes, registered until next year. Recent oil change and engine tune. Runs perfectly. Outside and inside in fair condition. No major dents. Has high mileage. Used it for commuting for 5+ years. Been a great, reliable vehicle. Phone number provided. Text for serious inquiry. 3 hours ago, that car will be sold by the end of today, for a fact. Okay, that car won't last. Why? Because the state of California will give you $1,000 for the car just to get it off the road because they're trying to reduce smog. So let's look at some information here about the pictures. Bumper cover looks like it's been changed. This is white. This is an off-white or a yellowish white. That's probably not the original bumper cover. Doesn't look like it's been damaged. I don't see any dents. The lines look all straight. Front end here has been damaged. They hit a pole or something. No big deal. Car looks okay on first glance. Would I pay $1,200 for it? No, but I know people who would. So you get a bigger picture here, and you can see, you know, they had like duct tape or something, and they're missing an turn indicator here. So that's the same original bumper cover, and the one in the back. Maybe it is original, but it's been hit and it's probably not that bad. Okay, the 4-cylinders, not as good of an engine as the 6-cylinders. Nevertheless, it's a pretty good car. All right, so here we see 2023 sticker. I can't read that. We see it says Camry. I don't know why he said 4-cylinder, because that might say LE. Sometimes it tells you the cylinders there if it says V6. So that looks straight. The lines look straight all the way around. Bumper doesn't look totally jacked up. 4BT. Okay, I'm going to write that down. 4BTJ630. Now, I'm going to go to a completely different website, and I'm going to go to smog history. California. Okay, now what's that going to take me to? It's called the Bureau of Automotive Repairs, the BAR. Okay, now I'm going to take that car and I'm going to click on vehicle test history, and I can have either the VIN, the vehicle identification number, or the license plate number. So I can put that number in. It'll have the last car that I looked at, and it also pulls up on my computer and my phone the history of all the cars, and sometimes I see these cars being recycled. It's like I start to put in the first couple digits, and I see, oh, I've looked up that car before. That car's probably been sold and resold. Okay, so 4BTJ630. So I've got my digits in there. In California, it's number, letter, number on most of them. It depends on the type of vehicle. All right, so then I hit submit, and I scroll down, and I'm able to see the entire history of the smog of that Camry. Now, here's what I'm looking for. Again, these are tips. If you're still on this at 1 hour and 20 minutes, you're interested in learning from somebody who's bought and sold multiple dozens of cars, and kind of narrowed some of this stuff down. All right, so let's start at the bottom. We don't need the referee inspection information. We don't really need the certificate information. We only need the pass-fail information, and then we need these dates. We need to know that this is the same car, a 98 Toyota Camry. So what I'm really focused on here is this information in the center right there. That's all I care about. Okay, so what I see is pass, 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 A, A. A means abort. Abort means they terminated the smog. So they found something wrong and they started it and then they just stopped. Pass, pass, fail, fail, pass, 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 pass. In California, in that particular region, you have to do your car every 2 years for the smog. In other areas, once every 15 years maybe, or only when you sell the car. So it depends on the smog requirements for the area the car is registered in. So what I'm looking for here is it every 2 years? So here's what I'm seeing: June of '01, April of '03, June of '05. So I'm seeing a pattern: 2 years, '01, '03, '05, '08. So I'm seeing 1/14/08 abort, and 1/14/08 abort, and then 1/14/08 pass. So maybe the gas cap was broken, or the some vacuum hose was left off or something. I mean, it may be no big deal, and then they just fixed it. But they, the car passed smog. There's, who knows? They changed the air filter and they forgot to clamp the thing back together again. Whatever. So basically, it passed. So the car was sold right here, because this is '01, '03, '05, and then it goes a year and a half. That means the car was sold. So then we go from '08 and we go to '09. Okay, so we would have had 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So it's getting back on its cycle for every 2 years for the state of California. Passed again. So we have 8/09, but that's a little different than right here where you have 6, 4, and 6. And then you go to 8, that's August. And then you have 10, 26, 11. That seems off. So I'm thinking the car might have sold again, and you have a couple fails. Who knows? Maybe something was wrong with the car that needed to be fixed. It does have super high mileage, so it got sold again. And this guy said he's owned it for the last 5 years, so we'll keep going. So we have 10, 26, 11, it failed. 11/1/2011, it failed again, so they brought it back, about a week later, and it didn't pass. And then the next day, 11/2/11, it passed. Who knows what they did, but right around here, the car sold again. 7/23, so now we're back to the 6/4/6. We're back up to 7/6. So this car should have been renewed right around June, right around that time of year. So we have a couple more passes, and he said he's owned it for 5 years. Let's take 2022 minus 5. We're looking for something around 17 or 18. Very interesting. Now, we were in COVID, so some people got a pass on registering their cars during COVID, but we see 2/16/2022. So that's not too far away from the June and the April. 2/10/18, 4 years. That car didn't get smogged. That could be related to COVID. And then we have June 30 of 2015. So this car has had probably something like 4 owners and passed smog recently in February 16th of 2022. Let's go back to the ad, and I can't really see what that sticker says. I can't see what month it is, but it says 2023, I believe. It's hard to know because we had orange stickers, and then we went to green stickers, and then we went to red stickers. So I need to know more about this car if it was actually registered. But we've looked up the smog history. And let's suppose I want to buy that car. I want to see if I can get any better pictures, I doubt it, of that sticker. And I can't. Here's the other problem. I don't see any pictures of the inside of that car. So I don't know what the inside of the car looks like. It could be a disaster. But for $1,200, if it's smogged, all right, let's suppose I want to reply to this person's ad. Okay, so then you go to hit the reply button, and I have to get rid of parrots. Oh my God. I'm assuming these are parrots. I mean, I don't know. They could be cockatiels or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about birds. Yeah, that's a cockatiel. I don't think that's a parrot. I don't know. Okay, so I have contact name, Jamie. Well, that could be a guy. It could be a gal. Who knows? Show phone number, and show email. So I'm going to go to the phone number first, and it's a 707 area code, which is Santa Rosa, and then it has a phone number there, and it also has the email. So what are some of the things that I'm going to want? I'm going to put an email, but I'm going to cover up the thing right now. Okay, because I don't want to go to my email and show my email address. This is reply by email. You can go straight to Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail, but usually I hit this little link right here, which you can cut and paste, and you can also call the person or text them. Some people will not respond to their emails, even if they say. But look at this email. It's a bunch of digits, and then it says sale Craigslist.org. That means it's anonymous. It's not that person's email. And when you reply, it also keeps you somewhat anonymous, but it allows you as a seller to be anonymous. I don't want that email. So I'm going to go into my Gmail instead, and I'm going to cover this up because I don't want my email showing. Sorry. Okay, I can do this one. Let me see. Sorry. Okay, so let's say I want to know, be hello. When did the car last pass smog? Okay. I'm going to put this, it needs to be within 90 days for DMV transfer. Now, what month and year does the reg expire? Okay, those are two critically important questions. If that car is not registered currently, you could owe back fees. When did the car last pass smog? If it's not within 90 days, you're going to have to get the car to pass smog. I didn't see a recent smog. They may say recent meaning within the 2-year cycle, but if it's not within 90 days, you're going to have to get it to pass smog. And maybe it won't pass smog. We've already seen it has a history of not passing smog. And that's the reason they're selling it, is they're not going to put the money into it. Or maybe the catalytic converter got stolen from the car, and new catalytic converters, $1,500, and they're selling the car for $1,200. So you want to know this kind of stuff. Now, you may want to hit them up with all kinds of other questions, but if they won't even respond to those two questions, I would just hold it right there and say, that's it. If they're not going to answer those questions, then why bother? Now, again, you may want to call them, but I just start off with a couple quick questions, and usually another one might be something like, do you have any maintenance records? Something like that. You might want to ask just a few questions. If you hit them up with way too many questions and they're getting a bunch of responses, they might just blow you off. Okay? And you may want to put your phone number or your name, or you may just want to say thanks. Cash buyer. Cash buyer with cash on hand. And then you just simply hit send. Okay, and you want to know which email. I have a Craigslist email that I only use for Craigslist, so that I don't end up with lots of spam, because this may be a scam. Okay, so then I'm going to hit send, and it's going to be a different name than my name, and it's going to be a different email than my email. But the bottom line is I'm sending them something to let them know I'm interested. But this car in this conditions, meaning COVID and difficulty finding cars, if it's smogged and if it's registered, even though it has horribly high mileage, that 350, these cars are done. They might go to 400 on the 6 cylinders, but I don't know about the 4s, only if they're well maintained and haven't been abused. So we went over the filters. Let me go back to a few things. Let me go back to this page. We went over what Craigslist is and how to avoid scams. We went through the main site. We went through some of the areas and sub areas where you can buy the car. I think San Francisco Bay Area, East Bay, North Bay, Peninsula, San Francisco, Santa Cruz, South Bay. It takes you hours to drive around those areas in traffic. It's just terrible. So that's some of the stuff you might be interested in. There is the Craigslist app I think I mentioned. I don't use the app. Now we went through owner and dealer, okay? So I'm gonna be only interested in owners, and I've got Camry, spelled C-A-M-R-Y, and I've got 285 using the owner filter, but not everybody spells Camry properly. Some people spell it C-A-M-R-E-Y. Okay, so if they spelled it wrong, it may be that they're not really familiar with that car, or they're not familiar with the English language. So you might find that they misspell the word, okay? So let's go back to Taurus again and just put that in there. And we have owners, the 14. Again, we had in the San Francisco Bay Area. When we had dealers, 853, but they have multiple postings. They repost and repost and repost to get their ad to the top. So if I push all, I'm looking at, well, for the Taurus, it looks like I'm looking at 867. But if I go to owner, I'm only looking at 14. We're going to go through some of the other filters real quick, and let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger, and I'll show you how to use some of these other filters. Price, maximum price. Let's say I'm looking at $4,000, and I'm going to put the odometer as 90,000 miles. I'm only interested in cars that have 90,000 miles. Now, again, some people might put 90K, and some people might put an abbreviation. So if it's 15, if I put $1,500 here, they might put 1.5K. If I put if it's supposed to be 350,000 miles, they might put 350. So using these filters, you might end up with some of the cars not showing up that you want to show up. So I just use 90,000 miles, and you can use the model year. I don't use it. You can use the type of drive it has, front, rear, or all-wheel drive. By the way, if you have an all-wheel drive car, all the wheels are capable of driving the car, but if the tires don't match and the tires are mismatched, and you have an all-wheel drive, it will mess up the transmission. So if this car got a flat tire, and these tires were anything over a year or 10, 15,000 miles, there's a tiny bit of difference in the size of the tire that goes on new, and these things are automatically compensating for different amounts of turning and all these other kinds of things, and the conditions of the road and everything else. But if the tires are not matching, the transmission can get messed up. So the right way to deal with an all-wheel drive car is to replace all four tires, unless they're relatively all new, and then you get a flat, and then you put another newish tire on there, you're probably okay. But if the tires don't match, all-wheel drives can have messed up transmissions. So do you want an all-wheel drive? Maybe you need to have an all-wheel drive. Maybe you need a four-wheel drive. Maybe you need a front-wheel drive, or maybe you want a rear-wheel drive. So you can put in the drive, FWD, RWD, or four-wheel drive. Now, four-wheel drive will also mean all-wheel drive. The transmission, manual, automatic, or other, okay? So you can use that as a filter if you definitely only want an automatic transmission, but we already saw somebody listing a Ford Taurus with a manual transmission that does not have a manual transmission, so they made a mistake. You would miss that car if you put in the type of transmission. The paint color, maybe that's important to you. I don't like red cars, I don't like yellow cars, I don't like orange cars because the police can see them coming a mile away. The size, meaning the type of car. Is it a coupe, a four-door, convertible, or whatever? The type, fuel filter, or sorry, the fuel type, gas, diesel, hybrid, electric, or other, okay? Title status, this is critically important. And it says on the title status, clean title, meaning the pink slip. In California, it's called pink because it's sort of got a pink background with blue lettering mostly. And a salvage. If it's a salvage, the insurance company's deemed it not worth fixing. It's been in an accident and it's 80% of the value of the car, and it could have all kinds of damage. Some people are okay with salvage titles. A rebuilt, similar to salvage. It's been salvaged, the car's been damaged, and then it's been rebuilt. The title's been rebuilt up. If you sell the car for parts only, or if it has a lien, or it's missing, they might not use any of these pull down menus here, and then you end up with, or they click the wrong one, and you end up going out there and it's a salvage title. Or you go out there and the title's been filled out and the car was sold a year ago, it hasn't been registered, and you have one owner who sold the car to somebody else. They released the liability of the car probably, but the new owner didn't register it. And then he's trying to sell it to you, and he gives you the title, and it's all filled out with someone else's information. You go to DMV, you got to have a bill of sale, you got to have documentation. Now, be honest with you, sometimes you can just fill that information out and sort of sign it yourself, and DMV doesn't know the difference. But if that car doesn't have a proper registration and a clean title, or a title that's salvaged and it's in your hand and you can see it, and it matches the VIN numbers and the license plate numbers, you could be getting ripped off. True story, fake title got made up on a nice printer. The guy bought the car. He went to DMV to register it. They called the police. The police showed up. They towed the car. The guy was out $5,000. And the cops told him that's a civil matter between you and the guy you bought the car from. We're taking the car because it's been reported stolen. So the guy lost $5,000. Okay, so this stuff does happen. If it's a lien, you got to get that lien settled with the lien company. So if you buy this car, and let's just say that this car was on a lien, you go buy the car, you give the guy some money, and he says, oh yeah, here, it's a lien. Go over to the finance company and I'll report the car is being paid off. Well, how do you know the lien company's got the money that you gave to the guy? So you have to go meet at a bank or wherever the lien is being held and get that lien released. I once bought a vehicle and they never released the lien even though the car was paid off, and the car had been paid off for many years. So I had to get that issue straightened out. It was not a big deal, but it did delay getting the car registered. So no title in hand. Maybe you just need a bill of sale, but it's easier if you have the title. It really depends. If you want to go meet at what we have here in California is AAA. You can go meet at the DMV and you can do the paperwork right there. That makes it easy for everybody. Let's get to the idea of paying taxes. Now, let's say that you buy this car for $5,000 and you put on the title and or the bill of sale $5,000. In the state of California, you're going to pay about 10% of that money in taxes and fees, maybe a little more. So that's $500. However, if you put $500 as the price for that car, you would pay taxes on $500, just saying. So let's go over anything else. We went over the way you can look at the map or the thumb or the title of the ad or the newest and the oldest and all that stuff. How do you find people who are flipping cars? I probably want to cover that. So let's look at some more information about the picture of the car. All right, let's pick this one. This 2006 Ford Taurus. They've blocked out the license plate. Can't see the license plate. I can't look up the car. Let's look at this picture. Can't see the license plate. Look at this one. Can't see the license plate. Over here, I can see the license plate. Now, if I can't see the license plate and I can't look up the car, how did this person accidentally cover the license plate? They didn't. And why does this person here cover up the license plate? And why does this person take a picture of a car in the dark? Let's look at this 2009 Ford Taurus SEL. Okay, 120,000 miles, $6,000 for an 09 Taurus SUV, 7-seater. 2009, 120,000 miles, very good. Purchased from something, I don't know, Shift in January of this year. Always only had the car for 8 months. That's interesting. 5-year powertrain warranty, phone mount, whatever. 120,000 miles. So, you know, that might be an okay car if you're interested. It was posted 26 days ago. He's asking 6, or he or she. And you see the map matches. Let's see if all the pictures match. Yeah, kind of a clean car. Can't tell what, it's blue, dark blue. You know, if I was gonna buy that car, I would pull a Carfax. I would probably get a little information from him and then definitely pull a Carfax. That's a lot of money to even waste my time on a car. But you know, if you're interested in that kind of a car, maybe that's a good deal. But you get the Carfax and hopefully you'll get more information about the maintenance history and how many times it's been sold. But the problem with these cars, as I said, the Ford Taurus SELs, one of the sites that you can pull up is top 5 problems or top 10 problems, and then put the model number of the car in there and then have more information about the car. Let's say if I want to go to Kelley Blue Book, KBB, and I want to go to the Kelley Blue Book site to figure out how I can figure out what the car's worth, price a new and used car. So I've been looking at some cars. Let's just say I'm gonna pull up a, what did we look at here? We looked at a couple 2004, I think, Ford Tauruses. And so you're gonna go to the brand, which is Ford, and you're gonna go to the model, which is Taurus. And the problem is these prices are going to be very inflated. You're going to go to the zip code, and that could make a big difference because in San Francisco, you've got hills. In other areas, you don't have hills. You have stop and go traffic in cities, and in areas where there's not stop and go traffic, it's a completely different car. So I'll just put in a number of a certain area that I'm familiar with that has some hills and some flats and some a lot of stop and go traffic, but not like a city, San Francisco or something, and I hit next. Okay, so I got a 2004 Ford Taurus. It's a sedan. They also sell that car in a wagon, and I'm gonna build and price it, okay? And this is gonna give me an idea of the value. I'm confirming that it's a sedan. And people sell cars through Kelley Blue Book, so it's not just going to give you this information, but they're trying to list cars. So you have the SE model, the lowest price, the SEL, and you have the LX and the SEX, okay? I thought the LX was actually the lowest price one, but that's another story. So let's just say it's an SEL or an SES. That's the highest price. If you're not sure what model it was, just pick the lowest price. Why pick the lowest price? The least amount of features, okay? So you go there, you hit next. It doesn't really matter what color it is, but some colors have more problems than other. Whether that was gray or silver, anybody's guess. For example, the greens had a metallic green in those years, and it was a car color that didn't work out very well. They have a lot of problems with that paint color. You see here you have V6 3.0. They have 2 different 3.0 engines. They have the Vulcan engine, and that's a single overhead cam, and they have the dual overhead cam, DOHC. Those are harder to work on, but they're both V6s. So a picture of the engine would help me in that case, but for most people, maybe a picture of the engine is not going to tell them much. I don't really like working on the dual overhead cams. You also have the V6 Flex Fuel, which uses the lower octane gas and gets pretty good gas mileage. So let's just say it's this. Again, automatic transmission. So the person who put manual transmission made a mistake or something, but front wheel drive. And then you have the options. This is kind of important because you get to see here, what does the car come with? Basic, power windows, cruise control. Does the cruise control work? Do all windows work? Has tilt wheel. It's not telescoping, it's just tilt. Okay, it comes with an old style cassette. That's actually good because you can put a Bluetooth adapter in the cassettes, whereas you can't put a Bluetooth adapter into the CD players. Now, some of these cars, the upper versions had the premium sound system, which if it's not blown, are absolutely fantastic sound systems. The Mercury Sable and Ford Lincoln Mercury, right? So they're the same company basically. The Mercury Sable, they have the GX and they have the LS and then they have the LS Premium. The LS Premium is so much better than the Taurus. It's a really nice car and the really nice sound system they have in there. Oh, it's just a fantastic sound system. Air conditioning, well, does it work? Power door locks, yeah, does it work? Dual airbags, seats, okay, so you have power seat or dual power seats. That's a really nice convenience because the power seats allow you to go up, especially in the 2008 models. You can go up really high in those seats. You can really lift them up. Leather, so any of these options, sunroof, sliding, or flip up, usually they go back and they also flip up. So one way or the other, does it have a sunroof? That's important to some people. Does it have the alloy wheels, the premium wheels? They have these chrome plated wheels on the certain cars. It's just plastic underneath. It's just, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, next. And then we have the used car price. So we have a couple things. We have 131,000 miles. So you got to edit this for the actual mileage that you have. Buy from a dealer, buy from a certified dealer, or buy from a private party. So then you have this right here, which is fair, good, very good, excellent. Believe me, there's not very many excellent cars. Not at that age. Very good means minor cosmetic defects, but it's in good mechanical condition. Good has some repairable cosmetic defects, but it's free of major mechanical problems. And fair has cosmetic problems and or mechanical problems too. So I don't know what the car is really worth, so I'll usually pick either fair or good just to get an idea on the price. And then it'll give me a used car price. And then you see this little symbol that they have here, and it gives you a range of what these cars sold for. During COVID, the prices of these cars shot up. So they went 50% or even double what they used to sell for. Then if you have to modify the mileage, you modify the mileage after this, it works better. Let's say the thing has 150,000 miles. That's gonna change how much that car is worth. This is 132,000 miles. You have major services. First of all, you go 30, 60, 90. Usually at 90, you have a lot of services. Then you go to 120. Once you go past 120, the car's worth much less. Like I said, the 2008 Tauruses and past that, they have an internal water pump. So you got to deal with that. That's very expensive to repair. So we're going to go from 1134 to 2731 range for a good. And then we're going to change the mileage to 150. And we're going to see that it drops the price a couple $100. Okay. And we check to see if that came out okay. 150,000 from a private party. And we'll see what it's going to be from a dealer. And you see from a dealer, it's like an extra $1,000 just to buy it from a dealer. All right. So that's pretty much everything. Checking all my notes over here to see if I left anything out. I think I pretty much got everything. Let's go back here and I'm going to put in a couple other search terms for cars. And I'm not going to use Taurus. I'm just going to put single owner. Okay, so owner, single, one, or single owner. Maybe I want a single owner car. Does it mean that that person's actually the only owner of the car, or that somebody bought it from them and they have the car and they're saying, oh, it was a single owner car, but I have it now. So it's not really a single owner car anymore, but some cars are single owner cars, and sometimes that's what people prefer. So you can have single owner cars. You can have one owner. You can use that as a search term. Okay. So certain cars come up as one owner. You see that Jeeps are super expensive these days. People love them and they're really expensive. So that's another way to search the cars. And again, you go to relevance for one owner. Maybe I'm just going to go more for the price. And you have a car that's 190,000 miles. Oh, wow. A 1972 Chevy K5 Blazer for $129,000. Is this person actually seriously selling that car for $129,000? That's insanity. Okay. And again, here it says odometer 100. What does that 100 mean? 100,000 miles. It does not mean 100 miles. Now, is the car super clean? Yeah, it's super, super clean. They obviously have put a ton of money into that car. And if they actually think it's worth $130,000, that's just insane. Would like to trade. Text me what you have. So who knows what's up with this person? Yeah, it is. In fact, $129,000 for that car. That's insanity. Oh, well. Okay, so that's some other filters. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. I'm going to put this search term in and see if it comes up. It may not come up, but I'm going to put private. And the reason I'm just going to put private is because I'm looking for private email. And what I mean by that is, let's just say that I'm going to put on this Dodge Hellcat right here. I don't know. Here's the thing I'm looking for. If it says, okay, I'm the original owner, private party, that's not what I'm looking for, but the word private in this is private email. If it's a scam, private email. Okay, let's look at this. Let's go to this 2014 Subaru. I'm looking for somebody who says, respond to me at my private email. Okay. 8 days ago, I'm not really interested in this car. Private emails mean they don't want you using Craigslist. They're trying to go outside of Craigslist, and they only want to deal with you through their private email. Those are almost always scams. Almost always. They might say something like, I don't have a Craigslist email. Please respond to me through my private email. It's a scam. They're going to try and keep all their stuff private, and they're just trying to scam you. So you look through here and find out if anything in here doesn't look right, okay? So here's an ad for a 2011 Lexus GS 350. Oh man, did I have this? Oh yeah. I think I drove this car. I think it was a GS 350 Sport model. Oh my God, they're so much fun to drive. Anyway, that's a pretty low price for a 2011 GS 350. How many miles does it have? Oh, 170,000 miles. No wonder. Yeah, these cars are a blast to drive, especially the all-wheel drives. 6-cylinder. Oh, it's a rear-wheel drive. I don't like the rear-wheel drives. They drive very squirrely. I don't like the way they handle through the canyons and stuff. They, if you don't know what squirrely means, it means you have to have your hand on that steering wheel all the time because the car wants to turn. But they're a fun car to drive, or a blast. It goes super fast, super, super fast. Anyway, I won't tell you how fast I got a GS 350 up, but something like twice the legal speed limit, basically. Anyway, fun car to drive. V6 3.0. If it was the all-wheel drive, it'd be worth way more. It says drivetrain all-wheel drive, but then right there it says rear-wheel drive. But if it's an all-wheel drive, that's actually not a bad deal. It's way too much money for that much mileage, but you know, anyway, really nice, luxurious car, but they're just super fun to drive. Pretty clean. So you can tell a lot about the car, but what I'm looking for is that. And you can't see the license plate, so they've kind of messed it up somehow. I'm assuming that's not because it was in a car accident, but they've just sort of messed up the license plate. I don't know why. Because right here you have the VIN number, so you can look the car up. All right. This almost looks like a dealer. I don't know. Please understand you would purchase this vehicle from a private party. I don't know. It looks very professional that the way that they've got this listed. It's super, super clean. Everything's indented exactly like a pro. So it does look like a professional. So maybe somebody bought this car, they've got the title, and they're saying they're selling it for somebody else, but they simply haven't registered it. And it's actually them selling it. Who knows? Anyway, you can get ripped off on Craigslist, so be real careful. You want to know, like I said, when it was smogged, and you want to make sure it's within 90 days. Don't buy a non-smogged car. Let me tell you about a scam real quick. Here was the scam. Let's say I buy this car, and this car won't pass smog. And they say it'll pass smog. It'll easily pass smog, no problem. So I buy the car, and it doesn't pass smog. State of California, unless that car was sold for parts only, even if it says as is, unless it was by a dealer as is, no warranty or something, you buy that car, it doesn't pass smog, you take it in, it costs you thousands of dollars to smog it. You can sue the person who sold it to you. Good luck collecting even if you win. But the bottom line is you can sue them because in the state of California, the law is that the car has to be smogged by the seller within 90 days in order to be transferred to DMV. So if they say as is, will pass smog, no. If it says parts only, then they're selling the car for parts only and it doesn't have to pass smog. So that's something to think about. Another thing to think about is the type of paint it has. Let's say it has a pearl paint. Pearl paint has a base coat, a color coat, and a top coat. So any scratches in pearl paint can cost so much money to fix, it's almost not worth it. It looks nice and it's all sparkly, but boy, does it cost a lot of money to fix those paint jobs. So there's other videos you can watch about how to buy a used car and how to check for stuff like the air conditioning and the cruise control and the power windows and the doors and the side view mirrors and checking the fluids and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going into all that stuff. What I'm looking for more is like, is any of this a scam? Okay, here's a person who's taken a lot of time to put information into their ad and they've done something with that front license plate again. Very interesting. I wonder if this is the same guy. Yes, it is. In fact, it is. Okay, please understand you will be purchasing this vehicle private party from the owner. We only help to market and show the vehicle. Doesn't that sound familiar? I think we just looked at that. Which car did we look at where it had that? It was one of these cars. I don't remember which one it was. Oh, it was this one, the Lexus. So look at same exact wording. So it's a dealer who's basically just off the grid. He's trying to get out of paying all the DMV fees and selling it as a dealer. Please understand you would purchase this vehicle from a private party. So again, there I just found a car flipper. All right, that's a car flipper or kind of an off the grid dealer, and they're doing something scammy. But whatever they're doing, I'm not going to get into it because I don't care. But you should look around at some of this stuff and see that you can see somebody is doing something that doesn't make any sense. And what they're probably trying to do is, let's say I buy this car. Let's do it this way. I'll do the Lexus because it's easier for me to deal with the Lexus because I'm familiar with this car. Let's say that I buy this vehicle right here off some guy for $7,000, and then I sell it for the odd number of $99.95. I mean, I might as well put $99.99. What a stupid number. Anyway, it's $10,000. Only dealers and idiots put numbers like that. But look, $99.95, $24,995, $63,995, $86,995. Boy, it's the same person, right? Let's go over here and look. And do we see the same wording? Please understand you're purchasing this vehicle from a private party. Yeah, right. So it's the same person. This is a dealer. Okay. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to avoid paying DMV fees, and they're probably skipping title. So this guy is buying the cars, or he's marketing the cars. He's selling them for somebody, and he's cleaning them up. So he's doing all the detailing. There's almost no way that a guy who owns a 2020 Land Rover Range Rover Sport HST and is selling it for almost $90,000 has time to get in here and clean his car. He's paying somebody else to detail these cars and market the cars and sell the car. Okay, so somebody like me who can detail a car and make it look like that, I can do that. And I get paid a certain amount of money to do that. And I clean their car up for them. They don't have time to do that. They don't know how to do it. I have to spend $100 in chemicals to clean the car properly. And it takes me about 3 days to fully detail a car that could look like a pickup truck when I first got it. It could just be a mess inside with dog hair and dirt and gravel, and it just hasn't been cleaned inside, and it's just a mess, and I can make it look something like that. So would I sell it for somebody? Probably not, because I might say I want 10% of the cost of the car to sell it. And then I'm going to end up getting ripped off. And what's my recourse? I'm going to sue the guy, but I had some sort of an illegal contract or something. Nah, it's not going to work out. So what they're trying to do is they're basically saying, I'm going to handle this car. I'm going to have the title in my hand. I bought it from somebody else, but I'm going to say that I'm selling it for this owner that you're never going to meet. And yeah, we can help you do the DMV and all that stuff. But if you list that car at $86,000 and you put $86,000 on the paperwork, you're looking at close to $10,000 in taxes and fees and all that stuff. So if he had bought this car for, say, $70,000 and he's trying to sell it for $86,000, what he's doing is he's holding on to that title. He's not filling out the paperwork. He paid off the dude in cash $70,000. Now he's going to try and make $15,000 on the car, and he's not going to pay those taxes to the state of California by skipping title. So then he's going to take the title and give it to the buyer, and he's going to make it look like he never existed. Well, he will exist, because when you go to buy that car, the previous owner probably did a release of liability, so that buyer there is going to show up, and he may use his brother or his sister or his mother-in-law's information, and so it's not really him, but someone else. That guy doesn't care. He got his 70 grand. He hands him the title, or gets the lien paperwork taken care of, so that guy now has the title, and he sells the car to you. But in the middle there, he didn't pay any fees at DMV, so he saved, who knows, $7,000, $8,000. So he can make $15,000, but if he had properly registered that car in his name, he wouldn't make $15,000. He'd only make $6,000 or $7,000. Do you kind of catch the math there? So there's a deal to be looked at more carefully as to why supposedly all these 95 cars. So I basically already explained that. I don't need to get into any more detail. You just got to be careful. You don't want to get ripped off. You want to make sure you see the title, the registration, and you get a bill of sale filled out, and check their ID. And you can sometimes get into the state of California website. You need the last 5 digits off the VIN number and the license plate number, and you can sometimes see if all the fees are up to date. I think that's it. I think I did everything. This has been a very long video, 2 hours of how to buy used cars on Craigslist. You know, it's a long video, but if you're willing to invest this much time watching it, I'm sure that you might have picked up some tips here, and hopefully this will help you. I really like Craigslist. It has a bad reputation, so I've tried to cover everything very thoroughly, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much for watching.